Hey guys, today I'll show you a science fiction thriller TV series named Upload Season 2. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. Previously, the newbie programmer Nathan, who due to a self-driving car accident caused by AI, is forced to upload his consciousness into a virtual world called Lakeview, where he must continue his life. Lakeview is similar to a massive online game where the deceased are the players. Like any online game, you need to spend money. Buying a glass of water costs money. Changing an avatar's skin costs money. The rich remain rich in Lakeview, living in luxurious presidential suites and feasting on gourmet meals, while the poor feel oppressed. They are limited to a small amount of data each month, downgraded from 5G to 2G, afraid to speak too much or even think too long, lest their connection be abruptly cut off. Now, Nathan was trapped on the 2G floor. Using the last bit of his data, he helped his customer manager Nora escape from a creepy stalker. After Nora got away, she explained everything to her father. For her safety, he suggested that she go to the base of some anti-tech friends of his, hidden in the mountains where there's no internet, completely safe. Meanwhile, Nathan's former girlfriend Ingrid came to Nathan, telling him that she too had uploaded herself to Lakeview for him. This left Nathan completely out of data, causing his system to shut down. The scene shifts to Nora right after her narrow escape from the creepy hitman. She's temporarily left the city under the protection of an unloaded intelligence named Byron. Soon after, Nora's dad finds her and takes her to the anti-tech organization's base. Along the way, she repeatedly tries to call Nathan, but no one answers. She's disappointed, not knowing that Nathan's data had run out, leaving him unable to respond. The two reach a dense forest, and Nora's father reminds her that no technology is allowed at the camp they're heading to. So Nora shuts off her phone and hangs it on a tree. Along the way, she notices that her father hasn't been feeling well and asks if he's seen a doctor. He snaps, saying that right after he talked to one doctor on Google Meet, he got bombarded with funeral service ads. After walking for 2 hours, they finally arrive at the anti-tech camp. Nora explores the camp and meets one of the founders, Mateo. Mateo gives her a tour, showing how people here live almost primitively compared to the hyper-tech world outside. Just to clarify, technology in the city is extremely advanced. Most regular people eat 3D printed synthetic food, while only the rich can afford food that's actually grown or raised. In this camp, however, all the food is homegrown. There are no emails. Everything is communicated via handwritten letters. And of course, there are no spam emails here. Not to mention, they have their own militia. Recently, this group disrupted an event hosted by Free-Yond, a metaverse for the poor after death. Unlike Lakeview for the wealthy, Free-Yond is for those who can't afford luxury in the afterlife. But the anti-tech group doesn't care about those distinctions. As time passes, Nora becomes close with the camp members and integrates into their lifestyle. While she's settling in, her former colleague Alicia isn't so lucky. Alicia is stuck doing the work of 2 people, and on top of that, she has to deal with a particularly troublesome client, Luke, who always finds bugs in the system. He'd exploit bugs in the game to endlessly get free bread, glitch into the rich area's hot spring, and even find a loophole to eat unlimited Nokia cookies. This season, Luke is at it again. He calls Alicia for help, saying he's stuck in a chimney. When she arrives at Lakeview, she sees him awkwardly wedged in there. She scolds him for being a fool, but helps him out anyway, warning him not to call her again since she's too busy. Yet Luke doesn't take the hint and keeps pestering her like a fry, so the fed-up Alicia throws him back into the chimney. Cut to Nathan. He's been downgraded to the 2G floor when he ran out of data. Then Ingrid showed up, claiming she had uploaded herself to Lakeview for him. Of course, things are never that simple. After a brief exchange of greetings rather than hormones, Ingrid pulls Nathan out of the 2G zone and brings him back to the wealthy district. The front desk NPC is still the same goofy guy, but even after just logging back in, Nathan's mind is on Nora. He finds a moment to call customer service, and Alicia tells him Nora has been missing for 2 weeks. The company claims she's on vacation, but no one can reach her. At that moment, Ingrid appears and the conversation is cut short. Ingrid brought Nathan to her custom-designed suite, a room she had spent a fortune on, hiring programmers to code every detail. Just the bed alone took 2 weeks for the developers to complete. Nathan, however, kept pressing her to tell him who was after him and trying to kill him. Ingrid playfully dodged the question, telling him not to get hung up on who the killer is. She only cared about them and their relationship. That's why she was willing to give up her life to upload and be with him. Nathan paused to think. It was true that Ingrid had sacrificed a lot for him. Still, he sneaked into the bathroom and tried calling Nora again. Unfortunately, her phone was already switched off. Meanwhile, Alicia was complaining to her supervisor about how demanding Ingrid was as a client. The supervisor, well aware of Ingrid's VIP status, quickly responded by promoting Alicia and giving her a raise, urging her to provide the best service. Alicia perked up immediately and assured her boss that she would handle it. Back at Lakeview, whenever Nathan had a moment, he tried calling Nora again. That's when Luke showed up. Luke considered Nathan his best friend, but Nathan, with his mind entirely on Nora, was in no mood to chat. He quickly made an excuse to leave and ended up in front of a multifunction room. The digital device he stole earlier could open up the back-end program. He used it to unlock a temporarily disabled app, hoping to call Nora once again. Just as he tapped the screen, an old man emerged from the room. The man grumbled that he had been stuck in there since the last update, and now he's finally free and it's time to get some real food. Meanwhile, Nathan used the back end to check Nora's social media, even logging into her dating app, where he found out that Nora seemed to have a thing for guys like Byron. After searching for a while, though, he found no real clues. On the other side, at the anti-tech camp, Nora had started getting close to the camp's founder, Mateo. Still, she couldn't quite let go of Nathan. Nathan, feeling down after failing to find Nora, eventually opened up to Luke about everything. Luke told him that he's got it good, and he didn't even know it. Ingrid gave up everything to upload herself for him, and Nora isn't answering his calls. He deduced that maybe Nora had forgotten about him and moved on. Nathan thought about it and figured Luke might be right. When he turned back, he saw Ingrid already waiting for him in the room. She wanted to talk. She'd noticed something was off about Nathan and asked him if he had fallen for someone else in Lakeview. Nathan admitted it was true, but said it was all in the past now. Ingrid reassured him, saying she didn't mind and would change for him. They kissed passionately, but without using their tongues, ending up in bed together. Meanwhile, a cat was perched on the balcony, peeping at their hormone therapy. It turns out it was Nora. Earlier that day, she had some time to send a letter at the town's post office. Seeing a VR computer nearby, she decided to log into Lakeview to check on Nathan, and that's when she saw the scene of him and Ingrid together. Heartbroken, Nora returned to the camp. She thought as she grabbed a bottle of liquor and went to find Mateo to drink away her sorrows and hormone jealousy. Whatever lingering feelings she had were now gone, and with Mateo showing interest in her, she decided to take a bold step forward. What we didn't expect was that Ingrid had been lying all along. She wasn't even uploaded to Lakeview. She had merely put on a full-body VR suit. Ingrid was deceiving Nathan, but Nathan, ever the freeloader, continued to take full advantage of the situation. Previously, Nathan used the elevator to turn the creepy hitman into mush. That event had caught the attention of the local police, who now suspected it to be a murder case and were preparing to investigate. So, the real question remains. The one who wanted to kill Nathan remains unclear. While Nathan has been uploaded, it seems things are far from simple. Nathan made up his mind to completely forget about Nora and live happily with Ingrid in Lakeview. After all, she had uploaded herself for him. Ingrid began planning a lavish dinner party to entertain their friends in Lakeview. Ever so particular, her demands were driving the staff crazy. She and Nathan discussed the guest list, which included a billionaire neighbor, Luke, Ingrid's grandmother, and others. The staff asked Ingrid whether she wanted standard AI servers or something else. They said they also offer real human customer service, but that costs extra. Ingrid insisted she need 2 live human customer service reps on standby. The staff also cranked the AI attendant's intelligence level to its highest, though it still didn't seem very bright. Ingrid, unimpressed, stuck to her decision. Real human service it would be. The scene shifts to a meeting at the Lakeview Operations Company. The product manager is introducing the team to their latest development, a birth simulation system. A baby appears on the screen, and the manager explains that this is the default face. If people spend money, they can unlock more facial features, or they can customize the baby's appearance based on the parent's looks. However, the baby still doesn't seem all that intelligent. The supervisor informs Alicia that Ingrid is hosting a dinner party tonight, and she'll need to work overtime. There's also a temp worker sitting at Nora's old desk, and Alicia has been tasked with training her. So the plan is for the temp to help Alicia with the event. Unfortunately, this temp worker doesn't seem all that sharp either. Not long after, the wealthy old man arrives with a stunning woman by his side. He proudly introduces her as his custom-made AI wife, the only one of her kind in the entire system. Soon, other guests begin to arrive. One man remarks that this dinner is pretty luxurious, but wonders why there aren't any appetizers. Ingrid, unwilling to let her guests complain, immediately instructs the AI waiter to bring out the food. The AI waiter arrives with a tray of bread and starts flinging pieces into the guests' mouths. Horrified, Ingrid stops him and tells him to be more elegant. The AI waiter agrees, and in an awkward move, he retrieves the bread from the guests' mouths. The situation gets a bit embarrassing, but Ingrid quickly changes the subject and ushers everyone into the dining room. The first course is a seafood chowder, custom-coded by programmers specifically for the evening. When it arrives, it looks visually appealing, but something's off. There's no aroma. Wondering if they might forget to code the scent into the soup, Ingrid asks the AI waiter to enhance the flavor, but he overdoes it. The soup ends up tasting like a mix of fermented herring and smelly turds. The guests are overwhelmed, and Ingrid, furious, fires the entire waitstaff. Meanwhile, at the Lakeview Customer Service Department, the supervisor is daydreaming about what her virtual child with Luke might look like. Suddenly, she gets a request for human customer service at Ingrid's party. She instructs Alicia and the temp worker to take over for the AI staff. Since the temp doesn't have an account, she logs in using Nora's profile. This immediately causes a stir. Nathan, who is at the dinner party, spots Nora right away. Unaware that it's not really her, he's visibly stunned. Seizing an opportunity, he deliberately drops his fork and sneaks under the table to chat with her. But no matter what he says, Nora looks utterly confused. The temp, sitting at her computer, is completely baffled and finally admits in front of everyone that she's just a temp worker using Nora's account. Nathan is deeply disappointed, though he understands it's not really Nora. Despite this, he still can't let go of his feelings. He encourages the temp worker, even giving her a 5-star rating and a virtual hug. The temp worker is thrilled. She never expected to meet such a kind customer on her first day. It's a bit like how a newbie feels when they get praised by a client, sparking an unexpected fondness. The story shifts back to Nora. She's been living well at the anti-tech camp, where life feels like a constant camping trip. One day, a priest from the camp approaches her and says she didn't come here just for fun. The food, shelter, and everything she uses here come from the sacrifices of others, and now it's time she gave something back. Nora, confused, asks what she was supposed to do. Mateo steps in and takes Nora to a cabin outside the camp. To her surprise, she finds a familiar face inside. It's the AI waiter. Except now, he reveals that he's actually a real person. He explains that years ago, he sold his likeness rights for just $1,200, and that's how he ended up being replicated as the AI waiter. Mateo recruited him to the camp for a bigger mission, and Nora will play a key role in it. Mateo explains that everyone here in the anti-tech movement hates uploading. A big reason for that is because it's mainly rich people who can afford it. If they could disrupt Lakeview, it would be a big win. They plan to use laser scanning to replicate the AI waiter's data and exploit a loophole in the Lakeview system to infiltrate and destroy it from the inside. Since Nora used to work at Lakeview, Mateo is certain she can provide technical support for the operation. He tells her now's her chance to give back to the community. After thinking it over, Nora agrees. The group quickly sprang into action, and Nora soon created a fake account for the AI waiter. Mateo thanked her and even invited her for a dance. However, this was just the first step. According to the camp's leadership, they wanted Nora to return to Lakeview as an inside agent. Nora had initially agreed just to help out, but now she felt like they were using her as a tool. Mateo and Nora's dad assured her that the camp had studied the situation and would arrange protection for her. Now, the anti-tech camp has now clearly identified itself as a group of Luddites, with their priest serving as their leader and spiritual guide. Nora was tasked to return to Lakeview to work as an inside agent for the anti-tech group. Their goal is to take down the Wealthy's upload project. To put it simply, their anti-tech stance is driven partly by resentment toward the rich. The scene shifts to Nathan calling his mom to share details of his daily life in Lakeview. She tells him she's short on cash and can't pay her rent. Nathan, feeling helpless, considers borrowing money from Ingrid. His mom declines, not wanting to trouble him. Interestingly, Nathan has noticed that since Ingrid uploaded, she often zones out in a corner. In reality, she's not daydreaming, she's sneaking offline to use the bathroom. The recommended maximum time for using a full-body AR suit is 6 hours a day, but Ingrid wears it nearly all day long, to the point where she's developed a urinary tract infection. After her quick bathroom break, Ingrid jumps back into the AR suit and logs into Lakeview. Overhearing Nathan's mom's financial troubles, she suggests a job for her, a gig delivery service, which doesn't require experience and pays decent tips. Nathan's mom, however, is a bit picky. Later, Nathan has lunch with Luke and tells him about his need for money. Luke, who lives off a government pension after losing both legs in the military, admits he can't help because he's broke too. Talking about money reminds Nathan of the 2G floor. Looking down, they notice a small window designed to let lower-tier residents glimpse the luxurious lives of the rich. Luke tries to pass some bread through to a person on the 2G floor, but there's a system restriction preventing food from being sent down. Meanwhile, the wealthy old man at a nearby table is enjoying an extravagant feast of exotic animals, peacocks, penguins, and more. Seeing this, Nathan comes up with a plan. He sneaks behind the wealthy man, pretending to drop something, and uses his coding device to steal data from him. He then passes the stolen data to the person on the 2G floor. Luke thinks it's a brilliant idea, believing that the rich have more data than they can ever use. They begin their mission, stealing the rich's data and distributing it to the poor. They agree this is the most meaningful thing they've done since being uploaded. However, their data redistribution stops when they reach a man with no hormone equipment, indicating that there is no more data to steal. Just then, a suspicious figure takes notice of their activity. It's the detective investigating the murder case from last season. At Lakeview's headquarters, the supervisor informs Alicia that this man is a cybercrime detective with a warrant to search their computers for any evidence of illegal activity. As she says this, she secretly copies a video onto a USB drive. It's footage she secretly took of Luke in the shower. She then instructs Alicia to take the USB to the storage room. Alicia, curious about the mystery, sneaks a look at the contents and is shocked by the supervisor's footage. She mutters what a creep and decides to make a copy of this. Meanwhile, Nora has returned to work as planned. Once she's back, she quickly reclaims her desk, which forces the temp worker to leave. Switching to Ingrid, she's wearing the full-body AR suit all day long is becoming too much to handle. She decides to hire a temp to take her place and thus brings in an older woman. She gives the temp all the necessary information about Nathan and warns her not to do anything inappropriate, like getting intimate with Nathan while wearing the suit. The temp agrees and logs into Lakeview in Ingrid's place. As luck would have it, the temp logs in just as Nathan and Luke walk into the room. Nathan is loudly discussing his plan to steal more data without realizing Ingrid is sitting on the hormone-smelly bed. Luke panics and quickly explains, hoping she won't report them. Unbeknownst to them, this isn't actually Ingrid, but the temp worker. She reassures them not to worry about that. In fact, she even asks if they need help. Ingrid, now dressed in something more seductive, struts into the Lakeview, catching the attention of wealthy old men. Meanwhile, Nathan and Luke use the distraction to steal the old men's data. Satisfied with the temp's performance, Ingrid watches from a distance, pleased with how things are going. After successfully taking from the old men, the next targets are the older women. Nathan even takes off his shirt, flexing his chicken muscles in front of them, while Ingrid steals their data in the background. Soon, Alicia and Nora from the customer service department notice something unusual. Nora decides to log into Lakeview to investigate and catches Nathan in the act of stealing data. She doesn't seem too concerned. It's not like she's going to report him. After logging off, Nora prepares for a job interview with the tech department. She knows that if she wants to infiltrate the system, customer service won't cut it. Meanwhile, the head of the tech department has also noticed issues. Many customers have complained about slow data transfers, and upon investigating, he discovers that a coding device has gone missing. Someone in Lakeview is using the device to steal data, and he orders his team to track the device's ID. The next time it's used, they'll be able to pinpoint its location. Back in Lakeview, Nathan, Luke, and Ingrid head to the casino. A high-stakes game for the wealthy is about to start, where they'll be betting real money. Winning here means they can spend freely without being detected, but since Nathan and Luke aren't rich enough to join, Ingrid will have to be their player. Nathan has already rigged her gloves to switch cards when needed, and Luke, with his eyes connected to the network, can peek at the other players' cards. Everything is set. The wealthy gamblers sit down to play, but it's a bit awkward. Ingrid's assets only total $250,000, while the others are worth millions. In the first round, Nathan uses the rigged gloves to switch Ingrid's cards, turning a 6 into a 7, allowing her to beat a rich old man. The other players are stunned by her luck. At the same time, the tech department detects the use of the coding device near the casino. The head of the department rushes to the scene, leaving Nora awkwardly waiting in his office mid-interview. Curious, she checks the computer and sees that it's Nathan behind the suspicious activity. Nathan switches Ingrid's cards again, securing another win. But then, Luke spots the customer service and tech department heads entering the casino. He quickly warns Nathan, who realizes they've been found out. Panicking, Nathan throws the coding device onto a sofa next to an old man and tells Ingrid they are out after one more round. Ingrid agrees and goes all in. Nathan, realizing he's just tossed the coding device, becomes nervous. At the last moment, Nora hacks the system and changes Ingrid's cards, securing a win. Overjoyed, the three quickly leave the casino. Meanwhile, the old man sitting next to the coding device gets blamed for the theft when the tech department head finds it, and he is escorted out. Back in the real world, Nora finishes her interview and is hired by the tech department. Her performance has impressed the boss, who's thrilled to have her join the team. She immediately shares the good news with Alicia, who, in turn, shares a secret of her own. The customer service supervisor has been secretly filming Luke in the shower. Nora uses this opportunity to plant a USB drive with a Trojan virus into the supervisor's file box, and when the supervisor later plugs it into her computer, the virus is successfully installed. Meanwhile, Ingrid returns home after a long day out. The temp worker is ecstatic, raving about how exciting Ingrid's life in Lakeview is. She begs Ingrid to let her take over again if such an opportunity arises. Ingrid, confused, logs into Lakeview to see what happened. The moment she logs in, Nathan hugs and kisses her, praising her for what he thinks was her stellar performance, calling it their best day ever in Lakeview. It's ironic that the best day Nathan and Ingrid have had together wasn't even her. Elsewhere, the cybercrime detective reviews footage from the previous murder case and notices that the killer was chasing someone before his death. Zooming in, he realizes the person being chased is someone he saw earlier that day at Lakeview HQ. It's Nora. The scene shifts to a family meet-and-greet event at Lakeview, where uploaded residents can invite their loved ones to visit using VR headsets. Essentially, they're given temporary accounts to experience the world. Alongside this event, Lakeview is also launching a new parenting system. The AI waiter is promoting it, explaining that scanning a code today and entering Family Day will get you a free month of the baby trial package. However, it will automatically renew, and the costs of formula and diapers are not included. He notes that the appearance of the baby might change over time, but the babies are considered the property of the Lakeview developers and cannot be privately transferred. Ingrid, intrigued by the cute virtual baby, wants to buy one, but Nathan is less enthused. Upon closer inspection, he notices something odd. The baby's face seems to be modeled after the AI waiter. While they're discussing this, Nathan's mom and niece log in, and he takes them on a tour of Lakeview, playing games and having a blast. It's a happy family moment. Meanwhile, Nora has started working as a programmer, fixing errors like when a coworker accidentally coded a chair to grow like a tree. Her job is to locate and remove such mistakes. While working, she spots Nathan and his family playing a game. Nathan notices her too and walks over to say hello. He assumes it's still the temp worker using Nora's account, but to his surprise, Nora says it's really her this time. Nathan is shocked, still wondering if that is really Nora. Things get awkward, and true to his player nature, he asks why she hasn't returned his calls and suggests they find a quiet place to talk. But before they can continue, Ingrid arrives, cutting the conversation short. Still, it's clear that Ingrid suspects something. After Nora logs off, Mateo calls her, saying it's time for them to act now and proposing to meet in the bugged area. During the family meeting event, Nathan's mom complains about how creepy the AI baby is, which annoys Ingrid, who still really wants one. Upset, Ingrid leaves to consult a Lakeview therapist, venting about Nathan. She confesses she really loves Nathan, but he doesn't even want a virtual baby with her. The therapist comforts her on the surface, but behind her back, he shares her embarrassing story with his co-workers, who laugh it off, likely because Ingrid has a reputation for being difficult. Downstairs, while Nathan plays ping pong with his niece, he spots Ingrid's father arriving at the event. Suspicious, Nathan wonders why he's here. He thinks he might be here to pick up his daughter and so decides to follow him to see what's going on. Along the way, he runs into Nora and pulls her aside for a private chat. He shares his theory and wonders if there is something shady going on since Ingrid's father is the one who arranged to have him killed in the past. Nora, however, is in a rush to meet Mateo for her mission and doesn't have time to listen to Nathan's ramblings and smelly bullshits. Nora heads to the bugged area at the edge of the map, where Mateo successfully logs in using the fake AI waiter's account. He brings a superworm virus. His plan is for Nora to plant the virus at the front desk of the Lakeview, causing chaos in front of all the visiting relatives. This will maximize the impact and disrupt the entire system. The worm will destroy the data of those who are uploaded. Nora hesitates, but Mateo gives her a motivational speech, pushing her to follow through. Reluctantly, she places the virus at the lobby. Soon, the worm is unleashed. The screen flashes, and the AI waiter appears, proclaiming that they are the anti-techs who are saving their souls by destroying Lakeview and eliminating the rich. As chaos ensues, Alicia does her best to calm everyone, reassuring them that the customer support are working on the problem. Nora, horrified by the destruction, logs off and manages to contain the crisis. Her quick actions don't go unnoticed, and her colleagues are amazed. No one expected the new employee to be the one who saved Lakeview. They applaud her and show their appreciation for her efforts. On another note, Nathan suddenly hears an alarm going off outside their room. He tries to wake Ingrid, but no matter how hard he tries, she doesn't budge. It turns out she's taken off her AR suit and is relaxing, eating food and watching TV. Nathan, left with no other choice, heads out into the hallway to investigate. It turns out the temp worker is testing a new alarm system, as someone had tried to hack into Lakeview the day before, and they're beefing up security. However, the new system seems less like artificial intelligence and more like artificial stupidity. Meanwhile, Nora returns to her temporary base, where Mateo is visibly disappointed in her. He asks why she saved those uploaded people since they almost managed to shut down all of Lakeview. Having worked in Lakeview for so long, Nora understands that the people there aren't just strings of data. They're real people with emotions, families, and lives. From this point on, Nora's views start to diverge from the anti-tech group. The next morning, Nathan and Luke are having breakfast. Suddenly, Luke becomes paranoid, feeling like someone is watching him. With his military instincts, he's convinced that someone is monitoring him. He hasn't slept in days. Meanwhile, to enhance security in Lakeview, the tech supervisor announces that a new system will be launched soon, and this system will allow them to monitor uploaded users' thoughts in real time, flagging any ideas that might pose a threat to Lakeview's security or interests for further investigation. The system is still in beta testing but will be rolled out soon. Nora realizes this is a huge problem. If the thought surveillance system goes live, Nathan will be exposed. She sends Nathan a message, asking to meet and talk. At the time, Nathan is flexing his muscles in front of the mirror, considering paying $4,000 to upgrade his virtual muscles. After reading Nora's message, they agree to meet at their usual spot. At their meeting, Nora informs Nathan about the company's plans to implement the thought surveillance system. Apparently, the company has wanted to launch this for a while, but privacy concerns had stalled it. Now, thanks to the recent attack from the anti-tech group, they have the perfect excuse to move forward. The company still doesn't know that Nathan's memories are returning, but if the thought surveillance goes live, he'll likely be exposed. They have a few days before the system is officially launched, so Nora suggests sneaking into the tech supervisor's office after hours to investigate. They agree to meet at 8 p.m. Later that night, Nora enters the tech supervisor's office. It's an incredibly lavish setup, a perfect replica of his real-life office within Lakeview. Shortly after, Nathan arrives. Together, they activate the new system and begin searching, starting with Nathan. Through keyword searches, they're able to link directly to Nathan's thoughts. Nora then searches to see if anyone in Lakeview has been discussing Nathan, and sure enough, they find a wealthy old man who mentioned him during the family meet and greet event. It turns out that the rich old man had met with someone at the event, a person who had been introduced as the same creepy hitman who died in the elevator previously. The old man had hired the hitman to kill Nora, but since the hitman didn't fully die in the elevator, he was secretly uploaded to another virtual project. The hitman had come to the old man demanding his payment, but the old man took care of him again. Believing he'd hidden his involvement well, the old man is confident that Nathan will never uncover the truth. Nathan is even more confused now. He wonders why this old man is trying to kill him, and if it has something to do with Ingrid winning his money in the casino, but that doesn't seem likely. Nora reassures Nathan that she'll continue helping him recover his memories, hoping they can piece together more clues. Ingrid has been pestering the customer service manager for a data baby. Finally, the manager, out of options, gives her the lowest level one, promising to upgrade it later once she's used to it. However, the baby looks exactly like the AI waiter. You might think Lakeview developed this parenting system to enrich the lives of the elite, but in truth, it's just a money-making scheme. For instance, you can pay less than $1 to make the baby sleep for a little while. Ingrid selects the service, but after just a few words, the baby is crying again. Soon, the baby grows into a mischievous child, full of energy. Annoyed, Ingrid makes the child sleep again, but when it wakes, it's already a teenager, rebellious and difficult. Frustrated, Ingrid pays for more sleep time, only to have the child wake up as an old man, frail and near death. Furious, Ingrid yells to rewind and she will pay, but it's too late. The child thanks her for paying for his entire life and asks if she can give him a name for free. Ingrid shouts no, but the child mishears and names himself Noah before peacefully passing away. Back to Nathan, he is at the Memory Replay Center, reviewing his past memories. In one clip, he sees a scene from his life at work where he's playing a game. In the corner of his vision, he spots Ingrid's father walking with someone. Zooming in, Nathan realizes it's the wealthy old man from earlier. They seem frightened upon seeing Nathan and quickly hide, whispering to each other. Nathan enhances the audio and hears them discussing plans to kill him. Clearly, the wealthy old man is more dangerous than he appears. The next morning, the tech supervisor arrives at work and discovers someone has tampered with his Lakeview office. When he checks the search system, he sees traces of an intrusion, signed with the names Robin Hood and Black Widow. He immediately suspects Nathan and Nora. Worse yet, they've hacked the wealthy old man's shady thoughts, broadcasting them across all channels. The old man is left utterly embarrassed. The scene shifts to the wealthy old man having a conversation about an upcoming company board vote. Previously, someone had always cast his vote for him, but this time, the old man plans to attend and vote in person. Meanwhile, Nora notices on her computer that a robotics company is downloading the old man's consciousness, sparking her curiosity. To investigate, Nora calls Nathan and asks if he'd like to take a trip into the real world. Nathan is confused, not knowing how he could do that. Nora explains he can purchase a real-world tour package and choose her as his guide. Luke overhears this and excitedly books his own tour, choosing Alicia as his guide. But a real-world tour essentially is a long video call where someone in the real world wears a tablet around their neck, allowing the uploaded person to see the real world through the camera. Nora straps the tablet around her neck, and Nathan uses it to see the real world. Together, the four of them stroll through New York City. Suddenly, Nora sees a viral post on social media about uploaded robots. Earlier that morning, she had posted a controversial topic about greedy uploaded robots, and it had blown up. Now, many New Yorkers were posting videos of the wealthy old man's robot, trying to catch some viral fame. This provides Nora with a crucial clue. By tracking these videos, they can follow the old man's movements. They eventually arrive at the old man's company building, which, oddly enough, houses the Freeyond project. Nora finds this strange. Shortly after, she sees another post stating that the uploaded robot was spotted at a nearby restaurant. They follow the lead and find the wealthy old man having dinner with an elderly woman. After further investigation, Nora uncovers a troubling pattern. Across the U.S., there are 649 Freeyond locations, but in poor areas of New York, there's only one. Similarly, Los Angeles only has one, but Pennsylvania has over 100, and Florida has more than 180. Something is clearly off. Nathan pieces it together, realizing that the locations are concentrated in swing states, areas crucial for elections. Typically, uploaded people aren't allowed to vote, but if enough of them band together, they might be able to change that. If all these uploaded individuals were concentrated in key regions, they could potentially sway elections. It turns out, the entire conspiracy is about controlling votes. Turning to Ingrid, she applied for a digital baby, but due to her lack of patience, she quickly messed it up. Now, Lakeview customer service has arrived to do a follow-up with her. They congratulate her on setting a record for the digital baby project, raising the baby from birth to death in under 24 hours. They're there to evaluate whether she's eligible for a higher-level baby, part of a beta test to become a full-fledged participant. Initially, Ingrid looked down on the evaluators, but when she heard they'd be scoring her, her attitude changed immediately. The temp worker even got a tour of Ingrid's wardrobe and was shocked at the rare skins she owned. Just as the group was scoring Ingrid's overall performance, her mom arrived in the real world, forcing Ingrid to log off. Her mother was furious with her, criticizing how much time she'd been spending in Lakeview. In anger, her mom wonders what she had been doing there all this time, and Nathan is just a string of data. Of course, Ingrid wouldn't accept that. She insisted she was going to be a real mother, kind and loving, unlike her own harsh and critical mother. This interaction made it clear that Ingrid's relationship with her family wasn't great. After much effort, she finally got rid of her mother and logged back into Lakeview, where only the AI waiter was there to greet her. Meanwhile, the others assumed Ingrid was experiencing some technical glitch and went on with their day. Even though the waiter is an AI, he has the ability to learn. Ingrid had scolded him previously, which deeply upset him. Later, when the temp worker gave him a hug, it triggered an emotional response. When he saw Ingrid feeling down, he offered her a hug too. At this point, the AI waiter appears to have figured out that Ingrid is faking her upload. He asks her why she's pretending to be uploaded in Lakeview. Ingrid admits it's because she loves Nathan and would do anything for him. The AI waiter says he understands. He's noticed that she's been doing something difficult and uncomfortable for a long time, all for the sake of love. After this heartfelt moment, the AI waiter tells her that she's earned the right to have a digital baby. Ingrid suddenly has a moment of clarity. It all starts to make sense to her. She leads him to a secret warehouse filled with experimental tanks. Sitting beside one of them, she starts talking to herself, and inside the tank is a clone of Nathan. The storyline shifts back to Nathan and Nora. It was previously mentioned that Nathan had developed the core program for the Free Yawn project, and while writing the code, he installed a backdoor. However, it can only be unlocked by scanning Nathan's retina. Unfortunately, since Nathan is now just a bunch of data, he no longer has a retina. Nora realizes the only ones who can help are the anti-techs, so she decides to head back to the camp. After discussing all of this, the conversation turns to their relationship. Nathan asks Nora how things are going with her boyfriend. Nora responds that that man has become her ex. Nathan, pretending to care, says that's such a shame. Nathan then confides in Luke about his dilemma. He still loves Nora but can't bring himself to let go of Ingrid, especially after she uploaded herself for him. Of course, he leaves out the part about using Ingrid's money to flirt with Nora. Luke tells Nathan to stop being indecisive since he can't keep going like this. He tells him to either break up with Ingrid and move on or come stay with him. Nathan has to respond half-heartedly. Next, Nathan and Ingrid head to the doctor's office. Now that Ingrid has passed the beta test, she's eligible for the full version of the digital baby. The doctor explains that either Ingrid or Nathan could carry the pregnancy. Naturally, Ingrid prefers that Nathan do it since she's not actually uploaded and can't carry the baby herself. The doctor continues, explaining that the baby's skin color, and hair thickness can all be customized for an extra fee. Even the amniotic fluid can be customized. It doesn't have to be amniotic fluid. It could be cola, Sprite, Fanta, cappuccino, or mango sago, whatever they like. Nathan, now curious, asks if he carries the baby, where it would come out. The doctor replies it would come out from his smelly butt. Horrified, Nathan immediately declines, saying he doesn't want a baby and even a girlfriend. Ingrid is shocked, saying she's so close to making this work. After Nathan's persistent questioning, Ingrid finally confessed that she had cloned his body. She explained that soon, Nathan would be able to leave Lakeview and return to the real world. His body was already 98% complete. Nathan was stunned, demanding to know why she would need to clone his body since she's already uploaded. This led to Ingrid's revelation that she hadn't actually uploaded herself. She'd only been using an immersive AR suit. Upon hearing this, Nathan felt a wave of relief. All the guilt he'd been carrying vanished. Without another word, he turned and walked away. Right after the breakup, Nathan called Nora to share everything, Ingrid's fake upload and the fact that she had cloned his body. Nora was equally shocked because she knew that while upload technology was advanced, downloading consciousness was still experimental. She recalled the previous incident where a billionaire's brain exploded just seconds after downloading. The risks were still high. However, Nora also remembered a more recent experiment with pigeons. Of 700 pigeons that had been downloaded, 400 survived for 24 hours before eventually succumbing to the same fatal brain explosion. The plan was risky, but if they could complete the retina scan to access the Free Yawn system within 24 hours, it might just work. After discussing their plan, Nora sought help from the anti-techs. After some convincing, they agreed to provide support. The team stormed Ingrid's rented cloning warehouse. After some searching, they found Nathan's clone. Ingrid, who was at the warehouse, panicked and tried to pull the plug on the clone. Nora quickly calmed her down, explaining that they didn't want to take Nathan away from her, but that they wanted him back in the real world. Nora's words worked, and Ingrid reluctantly agreed. They began the process of downloading Nathan's consciousness into his cloned body. Meanwhile, in Lakeview, Nathan entered the bugged area. His clone was placed on the transfer platform and the download began. Nora held Nathan's hand tightly, while Ingrid, restrained in a chair, watched helplessly. Against the odds, the download was successful. The first thing Nathan did was hug Nora tightly, but without a hormone yoga session. Ingrid realized just how much of a jerk Nathan truly was. Nora and Nathan made their escape, catching a high-speed train to leave the area. It wasn't hard to guess that they ended up in the same private cabin, where things quickly got steamy between them. Afterward, as Nathan was cleaning up, he noticed he had a nosebleed, causing him to wonder if this could be the start of the brain explosion. Meanwhile, back in Lakeview, the temp worker returned to work the next day, only to find a system alert notifying that Nathan's data was missing. Panicked, she asked a senior employee for advice. The co-worker suggested it's probably just data corruption and she could restore it from the backup. With that, Nathan's digital self in Lakeview was restored. At the same time, Ingrid found one of Nathan's stray hairs among his belongings, meaning she could continue the cloning process all over again. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.